HQ studios. I'm Jordan Giorgio. Emery Hunt is with us. So, all weekend long we were talking about Shedeur Sanders and his name being called. We finally know where he is headed. I just mentioned the quarterback room. What are the actual chances that he can compete to be the starter this upcoming season for Cleveland?
Great question, Jordan, because there's a larger answer, right? And you guys got to follow me out there because when we're talking about the opportunity, and this is what I'm speaking of, anyone that has played college ball or at the pro level understands when we say competition versus a real competition. We've all been in situations where we know the competition is a faux competition. So we'll see if it's going to be a legitimate competition, because if it is, he is the best talent on this roster at the position by far. So I want to see if it's a legitimate competition, and this is how it's broken down. We don't expect Watson to be around the preseason because of injury. Flacco already knows the offense, so he doesn't need as many reps. Pickett was brought in to compete for the starting job, but this is a new offense for him, so he definitely needs the reps, but maybe gets 2 series in a preseason game. Now you have a situation where Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders can compete in preseason games. You can't fake live action, and we tend to see guys thrive in these scenarios. I go back to Russell Wilson in 2012 when he came in and played primarily the entire preseason because he was supposed to be the backup to Matt Flynn's starting role, but he thrived in a preseason game. We know Shedeur can thrive in these type of settings where maybe it's not the best protection, maybe it's not the best receivers. We've seen him do that time and time again, going back to his freshman year at Jackson State where he played without Travis Hunter, and none of those receivers we kind of knew of, or anybody that we on that team that we knew of offensively. The question is, can he compete for a job? Because that's the one thing we hadn't seen before, because he's always been the starter under Coach Prime.
Can I tell you that I'm low-key scared? I'm low-key scared for this because all that fire inside of him, hearing name after name, quarterback after quarterback go before him, all the talk in the media, this is going to be a competition, and I'm really rooting for him. Are you rooting for him?
I'm rooting for him, and I'm actually rooting for the Browns as a whole, because if you look at the Browns draft, and you just take Shedeur and move him to pick 33 and take their 33rd pick and move it to where Shedeur was picked, we'd be saying this is a phenomenal draft. They did a good job in drafting picks.
100%.
So
I hope he uses all of that to an advantage, and we will be locked in to Cleveland's training camp so far this upcoming season. Okay, let's get elsewhere, because I think every year we focus at the top of the draft board, but you can really find value anywhere in the NFL draft. With that being said, tell us who you thought was the steal of this draft.
Listen, we spent about 3 American months trying to put
too long. You is more specifically every day.
Putting Ashton Jeanty with the Bears, putting running back with the Bears, and the Bears bypass that position often in the draft until they in their undrafted rookie free agent or late in the draft, Kyle Monangai out of Rutgers, and this is a fantastic selection in my opinion. This guy reminds me a lot of Ahmad Bradshaw, runs angry, kind of like the guy we currently see in the NFL from the Rutgers football program, and Isaiah Pacheco, outstanding tailback, a guy that could be a 1B to DeAndre Swift's 1A. I thought this was a phenomenal selection for the Chicago Bears. Underrated guy that can be a co-starter in their backfield. And defensively for the Cowboys, Jay Toia, the outstanding defensive lineman, I thought this was huge, because when you watch him play, he is explosive off the ball. He is strong at the point of attack. He was my number 4 defensive tackle, so the Cowboys getting him here as a nose tackle and someone that could also show potential as a one-gap penetrator. I thought this was going to be a great pick for them, helping them increase their run defense output that we know was a problem for them last year. Underrated draft selection here coming out of UCLA. Their defense was outstanding. Unfortunately, they couldn't score points, but they were stopping a lot of people last season.
We could always count on you to give us not 1, but 2 answers to the question. I know you do. I love it. All right. With that being said, are you leaning with the Bears and the Cowboys then to be the teams who won the draft? Who are the teams that won the draft for you?
Coloring outside the lines?
Yes.
They're 4.
Of course there are.
Listen, everybody won the draft, number 1. But I felt like everyone really did have a good draft. So the Cardinals, the Bears, the Giants, the Raiders, the Falcons. I would say the Cardinals first, because you got Walter Nolan. You look at what they did. Will Johnson was my number 2 field corner behind Travis Hunter. Jordan Burch was my number 1 4-3 defensive end. Simon, number 3 inside linebacker, Cody Simon, and Denzel Burke. I mean, I just thought this was a phenomenal draft. And for the Falcons, you have, you know, Walker that they draft, Jalen Walker, my number 1 outside linebacker. Pierce, James Pierce out of Tennessee was my number 2 edge rusher. And you get 2 safeties in Xavier Watts and also Billy Bowman, guys that are ball hawks, that are versatile, that can move all around. This defense was an issue for the Falcons. They rectified that. The Giants, outside of the quarterback selection, we could debate all day, but look at this. Abdul Carter, Darius Alexander balled out at the Senior Bowl. Scatterboo is going to be a phenomenal player. Bo from Purdue can play guard or tackle, but Doan, if he can stay healthy, is a good one. And Corey Black had a lot of buzz coming into the season, off-season process. Very good corner out of Oklahoma State. And the Raiders, listen, doubled up on wide receiver in Jack Besh and also Deontay Thornton. And they did draft another Wildcat kind of guy and touchdown time him a lot. But you look at the defensive selections, Porter, Pegues, Lindenberg, good picks. And oh, by the way, that guy at the top, Ashton Genty.
It leads the way. I absolutely love it. Okay, we're going through all the good here. There has to be some bad. Who had the worst draft, in your opinion, Emery?
Fan bases, if you have a problem with what I say about who had the bad or the worst draft, hit me up on Twitter at Jordan Giorgio.
Don't blame me. No, hands up.
But I will say it's not necessarily bad in terms of players.
Right.
It's just star power for the Denver Broncos. I felt like they missed time their jump in terms of grabbing some guys outside of Jahdae Barron and RJ Harvey. 2 phenomenal picks. Those are the 2 home runs right there.
Yeah, like where's the star power here?
Star power after those 2, that's where I have some questions. I think it's more depth, which is fine. This is what the draft is for, acquiring depth. But Barron and Harvey's going to be a starter and probably get 1,000 yards as a rookie. So those 2 picks I love. And the Rams, I thought more depth than star power. And usually the Rams are killing the draft on day 3 in all those places. And no quarterback is where I have the biggest question for Los Angeles.
I know, and I think, though, we're saying this now, but I think they have a method to the madness, the Rams. I think they're looking to next year.
They have to.
That's what they're looking
Ferguson
for.
is probably going to be a starter for them at tight end, but I felt like they had more opportunity to knock it out the park with some headliners, especially what we thought going into this draft. But coming out of it, I always love to see what the Rams do as an undrafted free agent, because that's where their scouts truly shine. They've been outstanding since Sean McVay and Les Snead have gotten there, getting those guys, those diamond in the roughs that play a lot of significant minutes for them.
That's why it's so odd, right? It's like we got to trust the process here. We'll look for next year.
Give them some leeway.
Next year. Yeah, we'll give them some leeway. All right, well, you can catch more NFL draft talk right here.
Chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng. Ở đây vòng của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là bí đao. Bây giờ mình sẽ bắt đầu làm nha, nhưng mà cái máy này xấu đấy. Em ơi, cô uống hơi đi, pha đi. Anh nhưng mà ngồi đợi cốc trà của chị đi. Đầu tiên là mình sẽ mở ra. Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn xỏ vòng. Thôi tiêu đề nói rồi, nói làm gì nữa. Như con ngáo á.
Cái thằng Vivi đấy có phải là cùng xóm với chị không?
Không, xóm bên cạnh.